now, so you don't need to look at the live stream anyway. So,
yeah, right.
Well, hello everyone. We've just started up the stream, our live stream for Tech Down Over number 97, and I'm the down part of the Down Over, and Rick Zanotti, who's over in California. He's over in California, not on the show today. He's had other commitments and he can't make the show. But I do have a special guest, is Anders Overgaard. So I hope I've said that correctly. Well, we'll just start the show now. Well, hi there, Anders. It's been
hello.
Now, Anders Overgaard is founder and manager of AndyX Productions, which is based in Norway. So I've been a fan of yours for about I got turned onto your site about 18 months ago. I think it was Dave Dugdale who pointed out, he said, you've got to keep your eye on this fellow. He does quite a good job. So how have you been going?
I'm very good. I'm overwhelmed with all the response. It's crazy. It's yeah.
So what I caught up with you, Rick was just mentioning about getting guests for the show, and he said you were coming on, and it was just at the time I was having a look at your IBC report. So what did you find out from this year from IBC?
No, we were really hoping for to see the new GH5, Panasonic GH5. But unfortunately they didn't have it at the IBC 2016, so yeah, we're a bit disappointed. But at Photokina, just a week after, they announced the GH5, and the rumors were right. So it will have 10-bit internal recording and also 4K 60 frames per second. So we were really happy with that. So. But other than that, at the IBC, we looked at the aperture stand.
Mm-hmm.
We have made videos about the aperture company because they have a lot of affordable lights and affordable, general affordable equipment for filmmaking. So they had a new aperture DEC, which is an adapter between the Micro Four Third cameras and the Canon lenses. And now they have the adapter which also has an integrated variable ND. That's quite special. So yeah, there was some interesting things at the IBC.
Yeah, well, I was waiting for the GH5 because I think that's when I think I first came onto your site was when you was changing over from the Canon 5D, was it? Mark II over to the GH4. And ever since then, I've really liked the Panasonic. I've got the FZ1000. But that's got the fixed lens, but I want to go to the GH4, but I've been hanging off for the GH5. Over there, do you get the restrictions of the 30-minute recording on the GH4 and GH5?
I actually never thought that it was a restriction for me. Mostly I do fictional movies and commercials and stuff like that, and it's I also do interviews, but normally it doesn't last more than 30 minutes. But if it do, I just stop and start recording, and normally I have 2 cameras, so then you can just cut over to the next camera if I start and stop recording. But I heard I think it was last year. I heard I was releasing the GH4 with a new version called GH4R or something.
All right.
Over 30 minutes recording, but I haven't had any problems with it, so yeah, I just kept on.
No, me neither, but I just saw also had the Photokina that was talking about the G85, the lesser one, which had for the US and Canadian market, it was unrestricted recording, and it was meant to replace the video camera, but for European and Australian markets, it was only for the 29 minutes, but I'm the same as you. If you can't, 29 minutes for the type of things most people are doing, that's more than enough. If you need something that you're going to let it run for hours, you just get a cheap video camera, but it's not going to be quality that you need anyway.
Yeah, I heard that because of the if you can record over 30 minutes, it's you will get the extra. I don't know how to call it in English, but extra
tax and duties.
Yeah, because then it's not a like a still camera. Then it's a video camera or something. I don't understand all the details about it. Yeah, it would be the GH4 would be more expensive if they could record more than 30 minutes in Norway.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think it's the same thing here. We tend to get the bit higher prices the same way as you do. They're much higher than the American market. But I see with all your equipment that you do have, well, let's say Rick and I are gear hogs. We get a lot of equipment. We don't tend to put it all into use like you do. But I see you seem to stick to a fairly minimal set of equipment, but every bit you do use. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's normally I use the GH4 with a speed booster. It depends on the project, but sometimes it's the Metabone speed booster together with GH4 and the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter. That's almost every time I use the GH4 and the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter. But depends on the project. Sometimes I use the Metabone speed booster as an adapter, but sometimes I also use the aperture lens regain. Because it has wireless focus and exposure controller. So, for example, if I do films where you have to do a lot of focusing back and forth, and you have to be quite stable with a shoulder rig, then I use the aperture DEC lens regain. But when I want to be flexible and have less equipment, I use the Metabone speed booster, because then I can just use the camera, the speed booster, and the lens. Then I don't need a adapter.
Yeah, I did notice that in a lot of videos that your preferred choice is that Sigma 18 to 35. So at least I know exactly which lens to get when I do get the GH5 eventually. Yeah. But as I said, so it seems to be the one lens that seems to do all the things for you. And because I've seen the aperture lens regain you've been doing, and that seems to be a great assistance to you in all the filming.
Yeah, it works great. And it's funny because I was looking at what lens should I get for the Metabone speed booster, because the Metabone speed booster was the first adapter I bought for the GH4, and I was looking for a lens to. I had some Canon lenses before, but I was looking for a good all-round lens with a quite a good aperture, and a lot of people recommended the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter because it had aperture 1.8. And also it had a really good quality, even though you shot in aperture 1.8. Because some lenses do, even though they are aperture 1.8, they don't have that good of, it's not that sharp in 1.8 aperture. But this one had actually, it was really sharp with the aperture 1.8. So normally when I do projects now, I use the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter, which is a good all-round lens. And I shoot with aperture 1.2 or 1.4 because of the speed booster. I get even more light into the lens. And actually at aperture 1.2 it looks really sharp. So I'm really happy with the lens, and I'll keep using it.
Well, I have noticed with all your videos and that everything, as I said, it always comes out nice and sharp. Now I always talk to people and say, watch your channel and look at your reviews, because they say, oh, but I might not be interested in the Sigma lens or the GH4. I said, but it's not all about the review that you're doing. I always get quite a surprise when I'm watching the reviews. I remember the GH4 versus you and Eskil you've got there, doing the GH4 and the Sony A7S. I'll put you on full screen so you can see you too. So, and it actually quite frightened me when you're doing that cigarette lighter thing with the low light, and then you kept seeing that person in the background.
Yeah.
But I say to everybody, just watch it, because you do a review, but it's not just about the product; it's about a story within that. So, how do you come up with those ideas?
Well, it's funny because most of the videos are just improvised. And I think that's just what about what's about filmmaking is that you have fun, you are creative, and you have your friends with you, and it's just being creating something new. And I think just by improvising, you can do a lot of new creative stuff. And most of the videos we make is just improvising. We had this one of the videos we had, it was about iFootage crane or a mini jib. And we thought, okay, let's just try to make a scene where we place the mini crane on one place, and yeah, we just do a shot, and then we'll see what we get. And Eskil is always creative, and he just improvises what he says. So we created a scene where he just walks and said, how do you say it again, Eskil? The mini crane shot.
We find ourselves in Norway.
That's a typical sentence. We find ourselves in Norway and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he just climbs the ladder and he's going to paint the barn. And yeah, it's just if you think about it, it's just crazy. But we're having fun and just improvising and testing the equipment. And I think it's filmmaking is a lot about having fun on set. It's social, it's creativity and all that stuff, and that's what makes it also fun. So I want to show that in the videos and not just tell about the products, but also have some try to inspire people about.
Well, I did see that that crane video as well, because I was quite interested in the gear you do get, and I was been looking for a new tripod, and that was one of the things that had the tripod that matched with the crane. But I did comment, I did think about Eskil's text, and I wondered if that was scripted or not. But he did it very well, because he repeated himself a number of times, doing in different takes. So he was to say, so he did it very, very well. I can't even remember things if it is scripted than that, but let alone made up on the spot. I see with a lot of, you've done a lot of little short films. I like the what's it, a silhouette story. And how did you come up with that? Because that was just such a great concept, and as I said, it doesn't matter what language it's in; it really works. Even without the subtitles, it would work. You could understand just from the pictures.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've been working in the film industry since we were 16 years old, and you always learn something new. I went to film school in Northern Norway and met a lot of really inspiring people. And the thing is that always repeat in the film industry is that show and don't tell. Like show people the emotions and don't tell about it. So in the silhouette story, that's a film just based out of silhouettes. We thought, let's try to tell a story without having a lot of dialogues and stuff like that, but show through just pictures or images. So we want to. Yeah, it was actually for a competition where we could win a meeting with one of the biggest or greatest Norwegian directors, Harald Svart, who made a new karate film in Hollywood. And we thought, okay, to win this competition, we have to come up with something special. So I thought, let's try to make something with the silhouettes. And I think, Eskil, you played one of the soldiers in this film?
Yes.
Yeah. So we had, I think it was around 4 or 5 different people on set, and we shot everything towards a white garage, and we painted everyone in black to make the to cut them out from the background, so we could have a silhouette, and then create a new background with a friend of ours who painted the background. So it was fun to do it.
The thing I see from a lot of your ones, when you show a little bit in the background of, is you seem to all have great fun making them. It's not like serious work. It's a lot of fun. I saw the one just recently where you said act naturally. I think that was your filming somebody else, and that was quite a lot. And your other short film I watched the other, because I hadn't seen this one before, your Contact.
Yeah, that's I've always been inspired by other sci-fi movies, especially it was funny because I was inspired by a film called Science.
Yes.
I really liked the film, but I really liked the film before they showed the whole, they revealed the whole alien in 3D. Because then I thought, okay, this is 3D, and I can see it's not real. So I lost my imagination, but when they showed the alien with a silhouette, I started to imagine, oh, how is the alien and stuff like that, and then it was more frightened. So I thought, okay, now I want to make a sci-fi movie at the film school, but I don't have a lot of budget. But the science movie inspired me to make all the aliens in silhouettes, because that makes the people imagine how the alien looks, and then it gets more frightened. So yeah, that was the inspiration, and the funny thing is that later on I noticed there was a Hollywood movie called Contact also.
Yes.
With the same title, and I watched it because I just searched for it, and I hadn't seen it before, and I really loved it. It was
Jodie Foster, I think it was, wasn't it? Jodie Foster, I think that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But as I said, I really like that too, and it's sort of the thing, as you said, with you didn't have too many special effects in it, but it worked anyway because the suspense was there as well. I still always funny with any films when there's somebody out looking for aliens, and then when they find them, all they do is try and run away from them.
Yeah.
So that's what they're there. So tell me, what other projects have you got on the go at the moment?
Right now, I feel really lucky because in Norway, if you want to make films in Norway, you have either you go to the National Film School, or you try to do it yourself with freelance stuff. Maybe you can do some Indiegogo projects where you get funded by people. Oh, there was I just got a bling on my phone. That means I got some money on the Indiegogo campaign. Yeah, that was a coincidence. But right now I'm doing a project about first of all a cinema film, a documentary about one of the most how do you say it, a psychic from Norway who has helped the police in Norway to find missing people, and he has done real well. I think for 2 years ago he started to help the police to find people, and now he has helped them 3 times to find missing people. And normally the police and the police use like maybe a half a year to try to find the person, and then they give up, and then they call this guy because he has the psychic powers, and he comes, and just after 2 days he finds a missing person. And it's just so I'm very curious about this person because 3 times he's done this, and so we're making a documentary about him to see if we can, how does he work, and how is actually this true. So that's quite interesting. And also we're doing a short film for YouTube, of course. YouTube is a big, big place of the film making we're doing. And now we want to make a short film about a sci-fi film, again, about cameras. So that will be a big project on YouTube.
Well, I hope you've seen, I've already contributed to that. I've already put my $100 worth to that because I'm interested in seeing the camera hack. So
thank you so much. Yes. It's crazy because I never done this campaign before, like Indiegogo campaign, crowdfunding, and we thought, I can't imagine how this will turn out. I never done it before, and we thought let's just do it and see how the subscribers and the followers will react. And so far it has been a lot of contributors, around 125, and we're just so blown out by all the feedback, and it's crazy.
Well, the great thing is that you do such a good job with the ones that you do by yourself. That's just under your own budget. If you've got a little bit of money behind you, that it's not just it's just not for love. You're getting a little bit of money out of it for that. So you've got 2 days to go, and I think you're getting close to your target. How much have you got so far?
I think it's around $5,000, and we are aiming at 7,500. So it's. I don't think we'll reach it in 2 days. We'll see. But I think there's also a possibility to delay it for 1 week. And the thing is that we have 165, almost 165,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I don't think a lot of them, just a small amount of them, know about the campaign. So we're going to make a new YouTube video on Monday. I think we'll release it on Monday. It will actually be one of the most how do you say it? At this book.
Requested.
Well, yeah, one of the most requested videos we have. We're going to make a short film within for less than $1,000. We're going to, yeah. If we didn't have any equipment at all, how can you make a short film for less than $1,000? That's the theme of the YouTube video on Monday. So we're going to buy the 700D with a kit lens and some sound equipment and stuff like that, and try to make a short film. And go through the whole process of finding actors, finding locations, and stuff like that. I think it will be one of the most requested videos we have. And there I'm going to mention the campaign, and we'll see, maybe then we'll get more, even more response. But so far I'm really happy with the campaign, and even though we don't reach the goal at $7,500, I think we'll make the video or the short film, even though, because we got some people in Norway that's going to help out, and always when we have a goal, we just do it, even though we maybe don't have all the money, but we'll do it, and let's see what we can.
Well, if I recommend to anybody, just contribute and make it happen, because you said you do such good work. You deserved to get some money out of it as well for that. But it's great to see you just giving back to the community there. You were saying a bit about doing a video on a budget. I did see you did a music video one, just recorded on a Windows phone.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was back in the days. I think it was around, I don't know, 30,000 subscribers, and I heard that Nokia was going to release a phone with a really good camera, so I just sent them an email and said, I have 30,000 subscribers, and could you send me or just borrow me your phone, and I could make a YouTube video about it. So they sent me the phone, but I was on the bottom of the list, because then they first had to send it to journalists to give reviews, and then I could make the video. So it was a bit after they released it, but yeah, the video turned out, I think it turned out really well, and it got over 100,000 views quite fast. So, but I just, and then Nokia suddenly said, we want to give you more phones because this is amazing. And then, they gave me some more phones, and I made more videos, and Eskil was in every one of them, and it turned out that Nokia got over, or the videos got over 500,000 views, and I just saw the comments. People were commenting, oh, I need to buy this phone, it looks so good, blah, blah, blah. So I think it was a really good way for Nokia to sell my phones, but unfortunately they stopped making phones. I don't know if it was because of the videos, but yeah.
But they've started to make phones again.
They started to make phones again. That's yeah.
So now you've got Eskil there. I just want to ask the iPad, the iPad 2 one that you did back in 2011. Remember that one? Was that your probably the most viewed video you guys have done? Because it looks about nearly 6 million views.
Yeah, it's definitely our most viewed single video.
And it was said, was that before the iPad 2 actually was released, or after it had been released?
It was just before the iPad 2 was released, which is obviously a major factor in its popularity.
Yeah, and it probably makes more sense now with the big iPhones out there, with having a big 27-inch iMac doing that as an iPad. So it was very, very well done. I did have to laugh out at that. That was back in 2011. Was that correct? Around 2011?
Yeah, it was 2011. That's correct.
But I did see with interest that one of your other most viewed videos was with Anders just singing a song on GarageBand. That's got
using auto-tune.
Yeah, that's
yes.
true.
And,
Still move away.
and it really blows me away that you take all that time and trouble with all the major videos that you do, 30, 40, 50,000 views, and one there that you of just a few minutes, and you get over 1 million views.
No, both just the iPad 2 video and also the auto-tune video was just we got an idea, and the cool thing about YouTube is that you can just be creative as you want, and you don't have producers over you that says no, this is just too crazy, you can't upload this and stuff like that. You can just upload whatever you want, and so I think YouTube is a place where everyone can just be creative and show their stuff, and suddenly you get millions of views, and it's just crazy.
I must admit, I've certainly got quite a few ideas from you already, just to try and get and use my equipment a bit more. You're in the professional side of it, but I just do mine for a bit of fun. But seeing your thing about the auto pan and tilt head that you do have, that I bought one in the Canova one with a pan and tilt head, but never got round to setting it up properly. But it's got me to get that out and use it a bit more to what it is, because there's some great equipment out there just not really being used a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I saw you went to this year's IBC, and I saw you ran into Philip Bloom. I sort of seem to think you two are sort of quite similar in the things you do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't how to say it. I haven't watched a lot of Philip Bloom videos, but some in the early age, I was watching some of his videos, and it was cool to see him there. And, it's really cool. I didn't talk a lot with him, but I saw him, and it was fun to see him. But my friends, Eskiel and the other guys, were so crazy about all the equipment there, so we just had to run and look at all the equipment.
I even like that when you just did a filming of IBC, you still had to have a little bit of a theme to it. Had mock fans coming to get you in there, rent a crowd and all that coming.
I was nervous because that was the first fan meeting we had, and we're going to film the whole process, so the whole expedition, and I was if there was no fans meeting up, what should we do? It's like, we're going to meet a lot of fans now, blah blah blah, and then if no one shows up, it's like, oh, okay, we don't have any fans. But luckily there were some fans there, some followers, and thank you, Victor Bart. Victor Bart, you're one of the guys who met up, and it was really fun to meet you, and
One of the shows I've aimed to get to, I would love to get to the IBC, but one of the other ones was NAB in Las Vegas. Do you ever have any plans of getting out there?
I would love to go there. It's far away from Norway, but we'll see. I hope to go. One day I will be there. Yeah, but I don't know yet. But hopefully next year.
Yeah, Rick and I would like to go next year, but one of the conditions I think Rick's wife has said is he can go as long as he leaves the wallet at home.
Okay.
Because it's one of those places where I think he can go overboard and spend.
I've been to Las Vegas, and I used a little bit of money, but I remember it was when I was there with my friends. It was if you was gambling with the machines, you got free drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So we just this is a bit embarrassing, but we just put on I think it was $1 or something, and we're standing there waiting for the waitress to come, and then we started to play, and then she gave us the free drinks, so we got free drinks for $1, and we also could play. No, but that's typical Norwegian because it's so expensive here, so we try to get everything free.
Yeah, well, same. That's one of the things you'd go to Las Vegas for, is to have a bit of a cheap accommodation and that. But it's a good place to have things like NAB, because it's got plenty of rooms, but it's not terribly expensive. Whereas if you had it in Los Angeles, the accommodation is twice as much to get there. So, if people need to get hold of you, where would be the best place for them to get in contact with you? Would it be at the www.axp.no?
Yeah, that's my home site, and there's a contact email. I can send emails there. But I really struggle, not struggle, but I get a lot of emails every day by people that tell me, ask me which equipment should I buy and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I don't have time to answer them all. So my recommendation is that if you go to my Facebook page on Andex Productions and you comment on some of the posts there, it's more I will probably answer there, because then other people can also answer. A lot of the questions I get is people can also answer. So on the Facebook page, it's better to do it. And so sorry for all of those who haven't received any response on the email, but there's so many emails coming in, and unfortunately I don't have time to answer them all. But
unfortunately, that's the thing that I think a lot of people do ask is, people like yourself, what camera, what equipment should I buy? And there's so much, it's all good equipment out there, but it depends what you're going to use it for. What you like and what you use it for may not be the same as what I or somebody else will use it for. So I know I've seen Tony in Chelsea Northrop have a lot of that. They have their live chat show, and they have people asking, and every time they're always asking about equipment. And let's face, most of the equipment out there is good. It's just depends whether it's good enough for you.
Yeah, that's true. I always say, people ask me, okay, which camera should I go for? Is the Panasonic GH4 or the Sony A7S? And then I just tell them that just shortly that Panasonic GH4 is more for filmmakers or people that make short films and where you can light up the scenes and stuff like that. And Sony A7S is more for people that make on the go shoot and run videos where you can't put up lights and stuff like that, where you can where you need more run and gun videos where you can't put up lights. So because I make a lot of commercials and short films, I have time to put up lights, and then the GH4 is perfect with slow motion and 4K. But for more run and gun types of movies, it's Sony A7S is really good.
That's another thing I mentioned with you saying about lights. I love the way you do use a lot of your lights, and there's things I've never thought about. You did one with the aperture, one showing using it, the main one as a moonlight shot, and in the same scene using it as for a morning shot. But at the same time of day, it was just quite interesting. How you did that, Rick?
It was fun to test it out. It was the Aperture Lightstorm LS1S, I think. At the film school I went to in Norway, we got people from the film industry to learn us or teach us how to do the proper lighting and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from the film school, and I wanted to test it out in the YouTube video, and it worked out quite well. So it was fun to do it, and that was it's nice to learn something from people in the film industry and then just show it on the YouTube.
There was another one Rick and I commented on, was you had one of the smaller aperture lights that you stuck into a tree, into one of the parks you were walking in late at night, and we commented if we did that here, we'd probably get arrested in a park in the late at night, just with a camera and a couple of lights. How did you feel doing that there?
No, it's no problem. In Norway you can do a lot of stuff without getting sued, so it was no problem. I think we were in a park in Norway, and in the middle of the night, I was actually, there were some people looking at us and like, what are you doing in the middle of the night in the park? But yeah, there was no problem because they saw we were filming, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're getting to the end of my time. We'd like to keep these to about 30 minutes, but thanks again for coming on to the show. And I do hope, I'll just urge everybody to go to the www.axp.no and click on the camera hack link there and go to the Indiegogo site and just contribute. So if you have a look at some of the videos Anders and Eskil do great work. So imagine what they'll do with just a little bit of funding behind them. So even the preview for the hack is great. So
yeah, that's the thing. We know on YouTube we have it's going great on YouTube. We have a lot of views and stuff like that. But for every month, it's around $7,000 or $6,000. No, not $6,000. $600. That's what we earn every month from the YouTube channel, and that's not enough that's enough income to get for just doing films. So what this project is that we want to see what we can do with more amount or more money. So it's we want to convince people that just with a bit more time we can create something cool. So,
well, I'd love to have you. Would you be interested in coming back when you do when you have finished the hack? That would be great to have you and Eskil, and we'll make Eskil part of the show next time if you can, if he wants to be. Yeah. We'll have a show just with Eskil if you want. So.
Yeah. That would be great, mate.
Oh, he does. I must say, when he was doing that scene with the crane, he did a very good accent on that. I thought, did that sound a very good English accent on that one there? So, what was your Australian again? Go and do your Australian again.
My Australian accent is not very good, actually.
Well, it's like most people. It sounds a bit like a Londoner, but it's close enough. I suppose it's gone from the English to the Londoner to an Australian anyway. So
I just want to say that everyone that contributes at the camera hack campaign now will get a free entrance to the premiere in Norway. But I know it's quite hard to get to Norway, and it's going to be a premiere in December. It's a bit difficult to go to Norway, but if you do and you have contributed, you're welcome to the premiere party in December. I will post it on my Facebook page. We'll have a premiere at the local cinema, and we have a premiere party where you can hug Eskil as much as you want. So, yeah, if you want to come and you have contributed, do it, and yeah, we'll have a lot of fun.
Well, as I said, for me, on my travel plans, if I have to go somewhere where there's a point to go to, so now if there's a point to go there, I might try and get there because it's always a good idea. Anyway, thanks again. And
thank you so much for having me.
And hopefully we'll see you again another time. Thanks again, and bye for now.
Thank you so much.